Oh, hello. Hello. It is me again. And today it's been a terrible, terrible struggle. You might know if, well, it's not the same day anymore, but yesterday, I should say. And that struggle continued all night for me, trying to solve what I really, I should be glad. I should be glad that I have this problem. And I don't know, I guess I just never noticed it before. How far back was the first one when I added the custom control? It would have been, that would have been not that long ago. Oh, wait a minute. Spin control, references. Okay, I certainly didn't have it there. So, is it here? 147. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the number is. I think it's been like this, and it only just occurred to me at some point. I said, mine doesn't look as good as Notepad's custom control, but whatever. Well, it's just in the little unit test thing here. I added the thing with the string. Okay, that turned out to be a bit of a pain, but not too much. It needs lots of cleanup, but I've got it down now to something that's not too bad. These are like the header and the trailer and everything in between are the flags for the various things. Here I've got the recall flag checkbox and the encoding. And I run that, I get such a dialogue. It's got both things. The thing that I noticed was that if I don't have any of these flags at all, then this bothers me. Okay, so here I'm not doing anything. I don't even have the Explorer thing turned on or anything. So this is like this. This is the default. Okay, now this is a much nicer dialog, right? It's got the folders on one side, it's got the file view, it's got the search thing, and it has this bar on top. This button is kind of useless, and it's bigger and it's resizable and it's got all kinds of great features. That's the default. If you don't add your special control, add a single control. That doesn't matter. It could be the little. I just never noticed. It could be the little checkbox. Anything. And you get this dialog. Like it's themed and everything, but it's this is the which side of the view is it? This is the left-hand side. There's no tree. The tree is up here. Should be on the side here, right? And so the struggle was why, and I never found the answer. Basically, I never found the answer. I tried every search I could think of, and I changed the identifier numbers, thinking maybe that had an effect. Who knows? I couldn't find anyone. Like maybe I just couldn't think of the right search phrase. Like I'm trying add custom control, common dialog, no tree view, and things like that, and nothing came out. And apparently, this is the expected result. Okay, but the thing is about this. All right. Let me just show you something. It's something that's been bugging me since the beginning anyway. I have to make this a little bit bigger. Now, there's quite a lot here already. But let me show you the difference between the default. Well, I'll run the program up here. Now, well, up to here. Oh, it's already running. You see these this Explorer style dialogue thing or whatever happens to invoke certain other parts of the system in order for it to do its business, whatever that business is. Now here's the default. I'm just passing in a regular old star.path. And here's currently what's loaded into memory. Okay. Now, a couple things happen when I run the dialog. Just have a look here. Now, watch this part here. Okay, now let's have a look and see what happens. And it's not done yet, by the way. The threads haven't terminated. There are a bunch of threads that got started. And they're not done yet with their loading, as far as I know. Because I know they will finish before the dialog. Okay, so now here's something to do with the themes. I don't know what this is. OLE, object linking and embedding. I don't know what this is. Setup API, configuration manager. And now we're into Explorer frame, which is a type of, Explorer. In fact, it pretty much is Explorer. User codecs, so now it's getting ready to maybe play some music. And now, of course, now Dropbox has got to get involved in this bonanza, just in case I might drop something in Dropbox. And so it's got to know and be ready. Now, something's using version 9 of the something, probably Dropbox. Yeah, he must be using VC9. Something to do with EH store shell. Don't know. That could be his thing too. Now XML-Lite has got, of course, got to do. Well, that one unloaded. Okay, so we're done with XML. And Microsoft Shared Ink tips something DLL. Who knows what that is? Now we're reloading XML-Lite. We just lost it. Now, actually, maybe we'll switch into a new and improved XML. RPC remote. Now, I don't know why we need to do remote procedure call. Structured query, security. Internet Explorer proxy, gotta get that loaded up. Advanced API, shell, Windows API, and of course the thumbnails cache. Now we're loading up IE frame, which is going to cause a whole bunch of these loads. Okay, now who knows what this stuff is? More OLE. Now Network Explorer is starting up. Got to check the network. Something CLI DLL. Okay, more crypto, NetUtils. And now we always get this. It always gets. There's a crash always at RPC unavailable. And now what's this here? GDI Plus. So we gotta get that in. Portable devices. The link to the telephone. Now it's search folder DLL. Audio device. WMA core. That's I guess to do with audio. Another storage thing. No, it's not done. See. No. This is now following that. This is the rest of it. It took a while for it to complete. Now, once all those things were done doing whatever they had to do, also GDI plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threads, which had been started, and doing whatever work they were doing, finally quit. Okay, but we got our dialogue. And that's why it's actually quite slow to run this little program. It's pretty slow. I mean, we're waiting for a dialogue, right? Now let's add our extra customizations on top of it. On top. Run. Okay, now it's still loaded a lot of stuff, but not as much, I don't think. It's not done yet either. No, didn't finish. Okay. Let me just have 100. And this one, not including. Oh, this has fewer lines, doesn't it? Oh, 85. Oh, no, but look, I included all this extra stuff by accident in this one. It should be from programs started. I'm not including that. Okay, so this one has 51 lines. Oh, threads execute. 2 of them have died. I think it's got a couple more. So up to 53. This one again is 85. You will notice the absence of certain things. For one thing, this one is lacking the crash, so that's good. The first one crashes, this one doesn't. Is it done yet? I think this one only started 2 threads, whereas this one had 9. This one had to load up GDI plus, and had to load up network servers and the remote procedure call servers. No, there's more. finishing. I think that's all. I think actually there's 6. There's maybe one more. But anyway, the better dialogue, for all its greatness, is doing a lot more extra work than the one with the extra control. Here, it's still doing something with Internet Explorer, but there's a lot less going on, and so it's quicker. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that even though it is okay, it's not as great, and you can't navigate as easily, right? You gotta open this instead of having it conveniently on the side. Okay, whatever. That's not a big deal. The view is not so great, but that's fine. Good enough. Now let me just switch and stop thinking about that because it's ruined my whole evening. I could have got work done on more important things like getting this editor working. As the image says here, sorry, excuse me. Just wait a minute and I'll be right back. Oh, you might as well watch the please wait image for a while. Let's see now. Yes, last night was, you see now it's, if you look at the clock here, now it's the next day, maybe 12 hours later. And I was too tired to go on. And what followed was I was tried to switch to discussing the Notepad project, and I couldn't really even remember what I'd done. I had to get some sleep. I did get some sleep in a similar manner to the way that this woman has presumably fallen asleep. That's not the whole image, by the way. It goes up further, but this is a family-friendly channel, and we certainly wouldn't want to offend anyone by displaying lewd and or emotionally disturbing imagery for some. But it's a pretty good please wait screen, and I think I'm going to keep it, except I'll probably clean up these little corners here, that's all. One of the things I did to get my mind off of all the suffering, trying to find out an answer to that question. What's to do with this wallpaper? See, this is what I had, and I like it and everything, but I didn't like the fact that it's got this little, somebody stuck this thing on it. I mean, it's cute and everything, but that's actually not the original image. It's evident that this is just tacked on, and that doesn't look good. That's what disturbs me about this skull, not the fact that it's there so much as that it hasn't been done very, very well. It's not professional. Not that I'm a pro or anything. Well, I found the original image. In fact, I found 2. And they don't fit the screen. I had to cut some of the bottom part off. But it works out to about the same. You can see them here. Now the original, I think this has no actual adjustments. Maybe it has a slight adjustment. Now it doesn't have the skull. But what I don't like about it, maybe you disagree, is it's sort of too, it looks like an overexposed photograph, whereas the one I had previously that somebody had edited has been nicely softened, and it doesn't have that problem. And I tried and tried and tried to find the right settings in PaintShop Pro to get this, exactly this colorizing. You know, I tried soften, you know, the different temperatures, they have these different settings and whatnot. And I couldn't get it, right? And also, you may have noticed it moved. This one here I have is lowered down, right? So there's I took this, well, whatever. The selection of the image that I took had as much of her head as possible, whereas this one has less. See? Now, or does it? Or is it just positioned differently? Let's see now. Because looking here, no, there's more of the top of the head. Okay, so what I could have done is certainly change. I could have selected this down a bit further, right? And I can still get rid of the skull. What I did was, there are a few things wrong with this. A, the skull I don't want because it's badly done. And B, you see all these artifacts in the black here? Well, this image doesn't have that. See? That's nice and smooth. Well, I mean, I don't know how it comes out on YouTube, but to me, from my view, this blackness area doesn't have those glitches. And I couldn't find the settings. And it turns out that this image, I just saved it, and it's not even it's the right aspect, but it's not the right size for my screen. Hang on just a sec. Please wait. Okay, so what I did then, since this one, I like this, I certainly like this part. This is good, and I'm not able to reproduce it myself somehow, for some reason. So what I did was I went into PaintShop Pro, my favorite program that I hate, and resized this image to be the same size as this image, right? And then move this image, cut this image so that it would, I discarded this image completely and cut out, so I resized the old image, the previous image to be the right image, put it on top, and then made these line up. So the cigarette, actually I may not have lined them up properly, I might have misaligned it. We'll see in a minute. Then what I did was basically went from this to, yes, I did. The smoke is in the wrong place. I'll have to fix it again, but maybe it's okay. So I just cut out the smoke out of the real one. I want to keep the smoke and I want to keep the nice colorizing. So that results in this. Yeah, it's definitely wrong. The smoke should be down further, and this isn't right. So maybe I can just quickly do that again. Where are we? No. 30 minutes. Well, I'll cut out part of that. Whatever you see of this will only be a short fragment of what I recorded of me trying to fix this image up. Now back to the code. Now, can I remember what I did? First off, make this active, and I don't know, everything's still running slow. This way, close that. It's using all the time. I'm waiting for things to return to their normal speed. It's getting faster. Everything's got to swap itself back into memory. Alright. Now one of the things I added was line scrolling. That is, with a keyboard. You know how you can, in any editor, you can do that, what I'm doing now. And the way you do that is you hold the control key down and you use the up and down arrows. But that's not one of the standard callbacks. It could have been, but it isn't. So I went into the resources and I added 2 new messages. Well, maybe I shouldn't have put C here. I could change that. I don't know if it's checked out. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the number is. These are new ones, they're not part of the default. And so therefore, that did modify resource.h. And gave me these 2 new messages. Now, why this says 4? I don't know. I think it says 4 because I added in one by accident. These are all messed up. This should say 104 because 104 is next. I added this in by hand because I deleted it by accident, but it'll probably sort that out on its own. But this should say 3 here. I must have added something and then deleted it. It doesn't clean up after itself. So if you add something and then delete it, this number keeps going up because it doesn't really matter what the number is anyway. But it matters that I'm getting these messages and I've got to handle them. So in window proc, I just have it's a command message, scroll up or scroll down. I just do this on edit line scroll. Okay. Accelerators give you WM commands, just like as if it were a button. And the line scroll uses the editor has a built-in line scrolling thing. So now I have that ability in here. If it will run. Okay. Now this is using the fancy new pared down but extra controls save as dialog. Maybe if I pause the player, I'll speed things up. Okay, that sped things up. It was almost instant after I paused it. So if I go to one of our files, okay, so I can do the normal motions with the cursor that handle myself, but now I can do this. Before I couldn't have it. And that's useful when you want to say maintain a selection, but you want to with the keyboard check something else. Maybe I want to whoops. I'll take that and copy it here or something. Home, delete, everything's working fine. You'll notice that in the title bar, there's a star here. That's something I added recently. Look at that. Something I added recently, and that means that that indicates that the edit control thinks that it is dirty. It is in a dirty state, basically. Its initial state is different from what it is now. Basically, it's been edited. Some editing action has occurred. And the way that works is whenever you do an edit type command, you get notified. A notify message comes along, and in particular this one. F here is the identifier of the edit control, and 300 is EM changed, I think, something like that. Where is that? There should be an on notify. Yeah, here. Notification messages have two parameters. There's the message itself, and the message in this case is WM command. And the control identified for the message, F here, is the identifier for the edit control. And if it's a notify message, that message appears in the top part, and EM change is 300. So that means that something changed, and all I'm doing now is I just call a void function called set title bar. The way that works is it calls the edit controls, get the modified flag function, have the contents of the control been modified, yes or no? If yes, then call this tail. The tail of string is equal to a star or blank. And then now I have invented a thing that ties the file name and the file pointer together. Very simple class, nothing fancy. Only part of this project for now. Excuse me. Yeah. Hang on. Well, you didn't know I was thinking. One of the things you should be aware of, by the way, if you decide to take up cigarette smoking, one of the dangers anyway, is if you're not careful and you forget, the ash on the end of the cigarette grows, and then it might fall. And just now, all the ash of my cigarette fell on my keyboard. And it gets if I don't do something about it, it gets into the keys, and then the keyboard stops working. So that's one of the dangers of smoking. Okay, now I'm doing set text. This is just to define the title prefix, which says Notepad cubed, with a dash, curve file path, and then the tail, whatever I've decided the tail is. Now the tail may or may not also contain, as in this case, read only. Not handling read only yet. Okay. Now the fact that I can tell if the control's been modified means that when I change, if I suppose I'm going to change to a new file, and when I open this one instead, what I want it to do, and what it does now, is checks to see if I've made any edit modifications, and warns me about the switch, like this. File. Well, now notice I'm using the dots here to make it all fit. I could just use the name of the file, I guess. Has changed. Switch files and lose changes, yes or no. If I say no, nothing happens. Right here. If I say yes, I've switched and it changed. And there's no star anymore. And note that the star is not something I'm writing in more than one spot. The only place where the title bar text is set is through this message. So the star, if there's a star, then for sure the edit control thinks if there has been a modification of the text. Now, I noticed one thing, because I had a look through the help, and I was looking at how initially you set the text. Is there a standard way, or is it okay for me to do just set window text? Because when I was doing set window text, right, the star didn't go away. One problem was I had a bug. I was writing out the new header line first and then setting the text, so that was a problem. But I fixed that bug, and I still had the problem. Or I thought I fixed it. That the edit control apparently didn't realize that a change had occurred. And then I found that there's a function you can call on an edit control, a message you can send to it anyway, to tell it to reset its dirty flag, called set modify. See? Defaulting to true. Now this should really be past tense. I would write this as set modified, right? Even the argument says modified. But what they mean is set a dirty flag to indicate that it's modified. So I did that, and I was looking through the help, and I saw that I was looking at the help for the message set handle. One of the things I do is I get the handle when I write the file out, right? But you can also set the handle of the edit control And setting the handle completely resets the edit controls, the modified flag and undo buffer and so on. And so it appears as though the correct way is to allocate using local alloc some memory, fill it up with your data, and then they tell you, before you call this, you should retrieve the current handle from the edit control, and then you're responsible for freeing it, not the edit control. So that's another thing I changed. In fact, this switching is much faster now since that change. Slow maybe because my computer's running slowly, but it's pretty much instant for me. Now the way that happens then is, where is that? Probably in here. Here it is. So setting the edit text, the whole edit box, works this way, given some text. So I read this, all this text in from a file. Then I'm using local alloc to allocate a handle to memory. There's local alloc and global alloc. This thing uses local. And I make it a particular size, just enough to fit the text, and call the lock thing, which turns the handle into a pointer, and then just a regular stir copy into the buffer, the text. Now I'm getting the handle from the edit control, and now it says I'm supposed to free this, but instead of freeing it now, what I do is first I set its handle to the new memory handle, and that's a send message. So by the time I get to this line, and I'm asserting it, even if I've made modifications, this has got to be false, and that's just further verification that this has been done, and it's got the new handle by the time I get here. So at this point, it's safe for me to go ahead and free the old memory. Okay. And then everything was going along great. And I'd open up, like, this file, it would do its thing with the star and everything. And then I'd go to the docs. I don't know why I called this now, but and I'd hit. I couldn't move. I couldn't do any editing at all. And in fact, I don't think it went all the way. I think it did go all the way to the bottom. It did acquire all of the text I sent it, but I couldn't add any more text. And I thought, well, maybe there's a text limit. And the fact is that there is. And I don't know what that limit is, but that doesn't matter. You can set the limit, the amount of memory that the edit control will allocate at most can be set. And I do that in window prompt. And init or create, I set the limit to int max 2 billion. That's pretty, 2 gigs. That's good enough for a text file. So that's pretty much infinity now. No problem with that. Now, save as. If I want to use the new fancy thing, and I haven't really implemented it, but it should be in here actually. No, handlers, yeah. On save as. Okay. Stir file, where am I getting that from? No, I don't want that. See, I've done this on purpose. M curve okay, now this thing might not have a file. So if it's valid, I'll get its path. Otherwise, I'm going to just call it Untitled. Right? I could put that in my string. This won't be the case, but let me just want to get that up. Call that Untitled. MRU string program string. This sort of file. Something to do with files or paths. File. Unknown. How about that? Just good to keep it consistent. I'll use that same string. Let me pick it up yet. Come on. Okay, so that's no longer native. Now these functions that are coming from reg, this is like the preamble to the flags for the custom dialog, and I want the encoding box, and I want the checkbox for remembering the directory. This ends the sequence, and then this is the file name I want, which I just wrote down. And so therefore this becomes like this, default extension of text. And let's see what happens. For save as. First, we'll try not opening any files, and it should say untitled.txt or something. Or maybe I'll call this new. Oh dear. What have I done wrong? Left hand side. There must be something with this name. Oh God. FLE file. No, I like file unknown. Good enough. Where was that? Win base. It's an error return. We would never use that. Those sorts of codes and things I would use in common, that deals with handling system errors and whatnot. I'm going to do a pause again. Well, it really goes a lot faster. Things paused. Alright, so now if I do Alt F8, okay, that's correct, that's what we want. We got our checkbox. Now the string that's going to be returned, I've even got such a file here, and I don't think it's going to ask about no, I haven't put override, but let's just go to a different directory. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's empty. I'm going to put something in here. Okay, now there's a mistake here. That's not correct. Okay, what have I done wrong? Clear from MR. It's assert not relative path. Oh, it's true. And that's because I haven't taken care of the return value. Clear from MRU stir result. So the return value told us what type of encoding to use. Alright. Oh, we might get a warning. We might get a warning. Okay. We can use the unbrace, and there are defines for the open and close brace here. And those are the ones being used. So reg open file name, open, it says flags open, but that's also the return bracketing format. Yeah, I shouldn't call it flag. So the encoding will be that, and you could put it in a message box quickly. The encoding returned was just so we can see it. Now, like I said, this unbrace works like a string toker. So after extracting that string from it, what's left, assuming there were no more flags specified, and there aren't, and we know that, should be the file. I gotta fix this. Just do the same thing as before. Coding was ANSI, and now it's got a star. It shouldn't have a star. Why does it have a star? Oh, because on save as, see, I'm not calling that thing. Now I've got to call set, what was it called? Modify. If we successfully save the file, right, then in terms of the file being modified, it hasn't, and it's been saved. And every time we save the file, we should do that. Now, what about my title bar? I'm going to fix that while we're here. That should just say, oh, that should be our special make a font. Just strings. File unknown. Prefix plus unknown. Prefix turns out has the, I think it has the dash. Yeah. Oh, and an extra space. Now this should really have a star, but we're not, in a sense, we don't have file. Okay, now of course it's supposed to ask if you want to overwrite that, but oh, okay. Now it's probably okay. Unfortunately, I can't check it because if I modify it, it's going to be modified again. What I failed to do here after clearing that was what I failed to do was do it in the right order. Try it again. So here I need to do a check if exists, if file already exists. We'll bring up another warning. Do you want to overwrite the file? You know, and you just keep adding stuff as you go along. Yeah, and I should put a star here. Why am I not getting? Oh, I see. I know why I'm not getting a star there. There, okay. Now it's correct. And so on. It's just a matter of adding more stuff. Now I had to figure out how to make these gray. I told you I added some more keyboard things, custom ones. Now for find and search and replace, it turns out that all those things exist already in the common dialog library. Okay, forgetting about that error, stupid error thing. Not error, but the loss of the super duper standard dialog. Dialog box types. Now there are a whole bunch of these things. One I remember I told you, I know exists, is one for font. There's a color chooser, a font, open, there's search replace. Where is it? I'll just try and find it here. I'm probably staring at it. Color, find and replace. Okay, so this is a common dialog. It exists already. We don't have to make it up. And we can invoke it by calling a special function. I don't know why, but there's some function. And you can hook it, of course, do like before. Now, I don't think it does any finding or replacing. All it does is it returns you with what the user wants to do. Now, how to use these? How do you use it? You call find text, see? Which, again, takes a great big structure, just like all the rest. And it returns an H-print for some reason. And then, oh, now there's something called replace text. Oh, no, that's, again, it's just a dialog. Right, you can get the handle to window the dialog, and you need that probably because it's probably modeless, which means that I have to change something in our basic window loop that allows for modeless dialogues to run properly. Okay, well that's it for now, and I'll get back to you. See you.